Oh hey, how's it going everyone? It's Kwan here, back with another video, and today I'll be unboxing what might possibly be the last major game for the Nintendo 3DS and 2DS, and that is Persona Q2. Now, in this video, I'll be giving you guys an inside look at the new Persona Q2 Collector's Edition set. Not only that, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Persona series and see whether or not it's worth getting this collection. But before we begin, I do want to mention that because this is an unboxing video and not a review video, I won't be giving it a score or anything like that. But I do have my first impressions of the game since I played the other Persona games, and I also have some thoughts on the series. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that ASMR-esque intro because I sure did. But let's take a closer look around the box. And I have to say the chibi art style is a nice, fun take on the Persona characters. It gives the characters a very happy and cutesy look to them, even though the storyline on most Persona games can be quite bleak and dark sometimes. Now, Persona Q2 is the sequel to Persona Q, which came out in 2014. This spin-off combines the many different characters from across the franchise, in particular Persona 3, Persona 3 Fez, P4 or Persona 4, and most recently Persona 5. Okay, let's open the box, and the first thing you'll notice is a 5-inch plush of Koromaru from Persona 3. This is a very nice plush, I have to say. The fur and felt clothing feels quite nice and soft. It's actually very well detailed. You can see the seize band on his right leg, and the wings on the back of his armor are also well stitched together. This plush is definitely nice to have if you're a huge P3 fan. Like most standard collections, you get an art book of the game. This is a really nice art book. You got all the characters from the series with a brief bio about them and their personas. There are also some fun looking story pictures as well. Okay, so I think I'm just going to flip through the pages and give you a brief summary of what I think of the game and what it is about. If it's not obvious by now, I think the game takes place in the Shadow, that's a whole different franchise. I don't remember the name of the dungeons right now. I guess you could just call them dungeons because that's like what every other Persona games would call them. But it seems like you're exploring some sort of thriller type setting based in the Persona 5 world. At least that's what it looks like anyway. But yeah, you go into an alternate dimension where shadow exists, and these shadows are creatures that you fight in the game. In the past, each Persona games has a special theme to their dungeons. P3 took place in the Dark Hour, P4 took place in a different dimension inside TVs, and P5 was in people's hearts and soul like world. But yeah, it is an Etrian Odyssey type game where you explore dungeons in a first person type view. You explore by fighting monsters, gathering loot, and building stronger weapons and equipment along the way. What makes this spin-off unique is that because it is on a 3DS or 2DS depending on where you're playing it, you can use the second screen and stylus to map out the dungeons as you go through them. And once you 100% those maps, you get an extra bonus like special items and gear. But yeah, that's the main premise or play style of the game. So if you're a big JRPG gamer and like dungeon crawling and looting, I think you'll have a good time here. Now, this is the briefest summary because I'm still starting out, but since I played the original Persona Q, I do find that it is a very similar experience. You just have more characters to play with, and the storyline so far is very enticing. Next up are some collector's pins of the main characters from the game. You have all the protagonists across the franchise. At first glance, I thought it was kind of weird to randomly include Yukari from P3 in this, but after doing some research, it's actually the female protagonist that you can choose to play as from Persona 3 Portable for the PSP, which I guess might be a possible option for PQ2, so that is pretty cool. However, it is gonna be kinda crazy how all 3 of the Persona franchise, well, at least the more popular mainstream-ish Persona franchise, will interact with one another, at least story-wise. Technically, if you ignore all the release dates of all the past games, it does take place in modern day Japan. Now, given that this game is jam-packed with so many characters, I am definitely gonna have a hard time balancing my party, especially since all of these characters are pretty amazing and I really like them. And because this is a turn-based RPG, you only have a limited number of slots to fill your party, but it should still be fun mixing and matching all these characters around. It is almost like the Marvel Avengers, but with Persona characters. Now next, you got some playing cards. In the first collector's edition set for Persona Q, you got some tarot cards, but for this collector's edition, it is your standard deck of cards that you can use for blackjack or poker even. At first glance, the art on here is pretty nice looking. The chibi anime style characters are well printed, and the back of the cards has an interesting design to it. It kind of reminds me of the calling cards from the Phantom Thieves that they use in Persona 5. I even like how even the Joker cards are P5 themed as well, since the main protagonist is called Joker. However, the one thing I will say that I'm really disappointed in is how cheap feeling these cards are. You can get way better quality cards from Walmart for less than $5. Usually a standard deck of cards has a bit of glossiness to it and are made with thicker paper stock. Unfortunately, this is not the case for this deck of cards. There is a roughness to the cards that does not feel nice to riffle through at all. They feel a bit inconsistent on each of them, and if you're not careful, I think you can easily bend these cards. Plus, I would not want to shuffle these cards at all because I am already seeing some edge damage to them. Now, to truly test this out, let's do some card spinning and see how easy or not so easy these cards can handle. Yeah, not so great. I know this is a random thing to test, but if I was going to spend like $80 on an item, I am expecting something more and possibly used. So yeah, these cards are probably the most disappointing thing from the collection. So I think these will probably just going to be used for display purposes and not for real actual gameplay or actual use. And finally, you got the game. On the box, it says display box, so I thought that meant something like a steel bookcase, kind of like what you would get from my PS4 or Xbox game collection. But I think they meant the whole box in general, that all of these items comes in and that the game just comes in your standard 3DS box. But that's okay, I guess. It just seemed a little weird to list this as part of the collection, at least in my opinion. Anyway, when you open the case up, you got the game and some fun looking art inside. I think the first game, I didn't have any artwork on the inside cover. As for the Persona Q2, it kinda has this Brady Bunch theme going on where all the characters are in these tiny little boxes. And here is a quick comparison of what the two different game cartridges look like side by side. So this video is getting a bit long, at least for an unboxing video, but here is my quick takeaway from Persona Q2 and the Persona franchise. If you're into JRPGs and have enjoyed playing past Persona games, or you only played one Persona games, like how many gamers only played Persona 5 as their first Persona game, then Persona Q2 is definitely worth checking out if you have a 3DS laying around and want some more of that Persona lore. I do, however, wish that this would have came out on the Switch with better graphics, but I understand why they decided to release it on the 3DS since the first game was on there, but at least we'll be getting Persona 5 Royal S, I think, coming out on the Switch pretty soon, so I can't wait for that. As for Persona fans out there, chances are you already picked this game up and maybe even the collector's edition, so hopefully you're all enjoying this thus far. Now, it's crazy to think that this will be the final big game for the 3DS after 10 years, but what better way to end a console life cycle than with a game like Persona? Anyway, that's it for me. Like this video, like it, leave a comment down below on what other content you want to see next, and what other Persona games you want to see after this. For me personally, I really want the Persona Arena fighting games to be ported over to the Nintendo Switch. And quite honestly, I think it'll be a perfect match for that. You already have other Quarry fighting games like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear on the eShop, and if the Nintendo Switch can handle Mortal Kombat 11, then there's no reason why it can't handle the two Persona Arena fighting games. Plus, I think it'll be easy money for Atlas, quite honestly. The reason being is that the Persona franchise has gotten so big over these past couple of years that even people who only played the Persona 5 game as their first Persona game are actually going back to other older Persona series and spin-off as well. Anyway, subscribe and tap that bell to stay updated, and if you're interested, please check out my website farmchew.com and my Patreon for some exclusive content and merch. Not only that, I also have a podcast called The Coffee Break Show. It is where I talk about nurturing the creative process and just having fun making stuff. Links will be down below in the description. As always, you can catch me on all those social media. I'm at FunForChew, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye. Fighting games. Plus, I spit there. Hello.